We're back on this again, aren't we? We are back on this Cristiano Ronaldo news, doing the rounds. Look, there's a gap. There's a gap in regards to obviously now looks like Raphinha and Dembele gone. I don't know, and obviously Lukaku gone as well. Are we scrambling now? Are we scrambling for Ronaldo, Neymar? Let's talk about this.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Quite a few bit of news to go through today. Obviously, we're going to go through this is doing the rounds. Ronaldo, we'll talk about that. We'll give you the latest in regards to Raphinha and Dembele. Dembele looks like closer to doing a contract extension with Barcelona as well. So quite possibly no Dembele, no Raphinha. And we'll talk about Jules Kounde as well. Apparently, Jules Kounde going towards Barcelona too. Our conversations apparently have cooled. So we'll talk about that. Frenkie de Jong, we'll talk about it's all about Barcelona. All the Barcelona players that we seem to be interested in, we'll talk about that. And of course, we have to start from this particular position. Cristiano Ronaldo wants to leave Manchester United. Chelsea, Bayern, and Napoli are aware of this situation. Now, the word is that Man United are a bit annoyed about this situation. They don't want to let go of Ronaldo. He's not up for sale. This is what they've said. But at the same time, I think it's going to be very difficult to keep a player like Ronaldo. He wouldn't want to play in the Europa League. Let's just put it that way. He wants to be the headline. Now, let's entertain this thought a little bit. Let's actually try and get deep into this. Would Cristiano Ronaldo work for us? There is no doubt this guy in a rubbish Man United side last season absolutely killed it. 20 goals or so. He's at times very clutch. He's finishing. There is no doubt that even him being 37, moving into 38, the class is still there. His physical stature is probably better than some of the younger players. No doubt, if you feed him, he will put those chances away. His finishing is ruthless and he's a monster up front. So, from that perspective, if you think about it in a very, I suppose, basic level, Ronaldo up front, put in crosses, lay the passes to him, he'll finish it. But it's not as simple as that. I feel one of the biggest reasons why we kind of faltered last season is because the way Lukaku at times was static up front. He didn't press enough. Thomas Tuchel relies heavily on his front three. He likes to defend from the front. And I'm not saying go out there and like a headless chicken run around. No, there is a logic, a theory behind how the press starts. And it all starts from the front three. Then the midfields come in, and then the fullbacks and the CBs sort of suffocate the opposition and box them in. Now, if you have a player like Ronaldo, who it's not that he doesn't want to press. I think it's more the fact that if you get him to press, he's 37 after all, so he will, get tired throughout the match. He does not have the engine to play 90 minutes week in, week out, pressing the way we want to press under Thomas Tuchel, which is obviously we want to hold the ball. I've got no issues when we have the possession. When we've got the ball in possession, sure, Ronaldo shouldn't. There doesn't need to be too much worry. We just need to find him and he'll put it away. It's without the ball. The opposition will find it so easy to build up and go through to our midfield and then into our backline. If even one player breaks down the whole press, if Ronaldo doesn't get the pressing sense with the other players up front, the opposition will pick that up straight away and they'll target him because he won't press and they'll just pretty much go around him. And before you know it, our structure will be broken. That's what I'm worried about. Now, can we perhaps produce a system that is conducive to get the best out of this player and hide his flaws? We've been doing that with a lot of our current players anyway. This is what Thomas Tuchel has been doing since he's come in. He's been able to hide other players' flaws. But it's got to a point where opposition, they start reading you. They do pick up on your issues, and then they start honing in on it. So there could be a time where we might adjust and accommodate a player like Ronaldo, but sooner or later the opposition will figure it out. And look, what does it mean long term as well? Someone like Ronaldo, how many years are you going to give him at Chelsea Football Club? 2 seasons? It's just not ideal. What about players like Havertz then? What about players like Armando Broja then? What about, you know, many other players? Like, it's not about, oh, Miz is now saying, oh, let's have Havertz and Armando Broja ahead of Ronaldo. No, I would love to see Ronaldo. From a marketing point of view, he's another player on top of, we've spoken about Neymar. From a marketing point of view, he'd kill it for us. The amount of merchandise sales that will happen, stadiums absolutely full. He's a proper statement. That is one of those marquee signings, you can say. But the football will suffer, and the long-term picture. What are we here for? We want to ensure that in the long run there is sustainability. And with Ronaldo, I think you're going to hamper the long run process, and it will just take us longer and longer to get to where we want. Maybe for this season there could be a solution, maybe not. And the other factor is, as much as I love Ronaldo, I really do. He's a player that I grew up watching. The ego in this player as well. What does it mean in the dressing room? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's been a lot of talks in Man United dressing room that few players have fallen out on him. Now, look, that could be a good thing. He could weed out all the ones that have weak mentality. He could instill strong mentality. I get that, but you do need a balance. Now, you'll say the same thing with Neymar as well. And this is why, from that perspective, I'm a bit skeptical about Neymar too. But Neymar, in terms of, I suppose, that creativity, as an inside forward, as a 10, probably something that we could do with for the time being. And he's 30 as well, so he's a lot younger. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it any better. But from that perspective, that's what I'm looking. Look, I'll leave it with you guys. What do you guys think? Cristiano Ronaldo, there's legitimate talks apparently that, look, I personally don't think this will happen, but you never know. It's a crazy world out there. This is what Simon Phillips tweeted out. Cristiano Ronaldo's transfer request is legit. Bowley spoke to his agent recently, and Ronaldo was spoken about. That is it as of now. Ben Jacobs goes on to say, Manchester United respect Cristiano Ronaldo's request, but a satisfactory offer won't just be financial. Man United are very reluctant to sell to a Premier League rival. Club irritated by a meeting between Jorge Mendes and Todd Bowley. They're irritated by us. Not too much should be read into that meeting, though, in this context. Told Ronaldo was discussed, but he was not the reason or focal point for the meeting. Bowley introduced himself and multiple names were spoken of. No indication Tuchel wants Ronaldo. It is so against Tuchel's philosophy. This is why I feel like the whole Ronaldo situation, it's just conversation. That's what it is. Just vibes, I suppose. Would it be great from a I suppose, footballing romanticizing point of view? Sure, but we can't be sitting here being sentimental like that. Mendes has also spoken to Bayern as well before Chelsea. This strongly suggests Ronaldo made up his mind to listen to offers before Ten Hag or based on any summer incomings alone. Keeping Ronaldo for another season, even with 20 plus goals, may not help Ten Hag change things. This is the thing. He may score 20 plus goals, but there could be, negative effects on the team overall, the way we play. He could score 20 goals, but we could still miss out on top four. He could put away certain teams, but overall, it could be a bit of an issue. And I think we need to look for that balance. PSG are bound to be mentioned. Imagine CR7, Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. Mendes actually approached PSG in April, again suggesting Ronaldo was considering his future long before Ten Hag. Luis Campos' arrival doesn't appear to have changed PSG's stance. So that's a little bit about Ronaldo, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know. There's so much euphoria going on in fan base about Ronaldo. Look, I'm okay with maybe one of Ronaldo and Neymar. I would possibly go towards Neymar more than Ronaldo, and we'll get to the Neymar situation very soon. But the thought of having Ronaldo, do you know what I mean? And Neymar, can you imagine? But just Ronaldo as well, CR7, do you know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to own that jersey? Who wouldn't want to own that? Just once in your lifetime, who wouldn't want to see that? But I think when you think about it from an overall perspective, I don't think this makes sense. Okay. Sport in Spain reporting that Ousmane Dembele will sign a new contract at Barcelona until 2024 at a 40% wage reduction after reaching a verbal agreement, as previously reported. Barcelona want Dembele and Raphinha. I really don't understand this. He's taking a 40% reduction to stay at Barcelona. I thought it was about the money. So it's not about the money. You just want to stay at Barcelona. I'm quite baffled by this whole situation. Both Raphinha and Dembele are staying. I really thought maybe we get one. After seeing Raphinha's situation, I thought, okay, fine, Dembele. But now I'm fully convinced both of them are staying there. This is quite sensational what's going on here. With Raphinha, Joan Laporta has said the Brazilian wants to come, but confirmed only communication with Leeds rather than any sale agreement. Leeds have still not accepted anything. Barcelona must match Chelsea's offer. Look, Leeds are playing hardball. It seems like, or it feels like, we're in the driving seat. But at the end of the day, player wants Barcelona. He'll do anything possible to wait around for Barcelona. And Deco is in conversation with Barcelona's hierarchies on a regular basis, waiting to see if they can make this happen. And ultimately, Leeds will have to give in because the player is not going to be happy. And the player doesn't want to stay at Leeds either. Even if the player, let's say for argument's sake, stayed for one more season and Barcelona promises that next season it's going to be cheaper, we'll get you. I don't think it'll be the same Raphinha. So eventually you'd think Leeds will break in. Just in, Dembele is advancing more towards a renewal, and there are positive feelings around this. His will to stay and Xavi's support has been key. Further on goes to say, Joan Laporta, we are working a lot on new signing players that we are lucky enough are waiting for us to activate the second lever. So this is how Barcelona is going to do all this. So they have activated the first lever. They've got another lever coming up, the second lever. They're going to open up a lot of cash. Some of you guys are saying how they're doing this. They need to be investigated. They probably do. They're selling off their TV rights. They're selling off some parts of their academy. They're opening up their stadiums for a whole heap of weddings. You can have weddings at Camp Nou. You can have matches if you want to play with your mates. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're pretty much selling their soul. They are pretty much selling their soul. What it means for them long term, I have no idea. Their philosophy is that they're doing this to inject cash. Then hopefully they bring in the superstars and then they start winning, and they win from the winnings. They'll slowly, eventually, years down the track, they'll buy back all of their assets, these privatized assets. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But in regards to, let's just continue a few more things about Dembele because we want to talk about the Neymar situation. Dembele wants a solution regarding his future as soon as possible. His priority is Barcelona, and his Camp 2 believes the best scenario now is a renewal. All parties must come to a mutual agreement. This is in regards to Raphinha. We have communication and have spoken with Leeds. What's there is that there are other clubs that want Raphinha and are making their proposals. So, okay. I think we need to give in to the fact Raphinha and Dembele are going to go to Barcelona. Now, what does it mean for us? Because we're not linked with any other wingers as far as I'm concerned. So, who next? Who next? Because it can't just be Raheem Sterling. We need other players to support us up front. If we don't believe in Ziyech looks like he's on his way to AC Milan. He's doing his own D-Leagues at the moment, and he's sorting himself out over there. So he's going to move to AC Milan. And also the fact that Lukaku moved. He's very close mates with Lukaku. They're going to be in Milan. That's probably another incentive, knowing someone over there. And Ziyech is in a situation where he wants to play his prime years, I suppose. He's now 30, so he's probably passing his prime at the moment. So he wants to make sure he plays. So he's going to go. This talks about Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner, possibly going to Juventus, and we getting De Ligt. So we do need backup. We do need backup in those areas. We need to fill those areas. It can't just be Raheem Sterling. And the issue is we're not linked with anyone. You can say Ajax's Antony. Some people are saying he's probably going to struggle in his first year in the Premier League, maybe that's not a go. Even Man United is probably not going for him at the moment. I thought Jared Bowen from West Ham, some people are not convinced about him. I thought, he'll do a job, but in terms of creativity, people are not convinced about him. So that leaves us. I personally think some people even said Rafael Leao from AC Milan, Man City are after him. So yeah, Ziyech going there would have been nice, but look, inside forwards is a different ballgame. Rafael Leao is probably more out and out winger. This is where the Neymar situation comes in. And this is where I feel like it's a bit different to the Ronaldo scenario. Neymar, in terms of the creativity, we lack that. We've seen our matches last season. We cannot deny that at times we looked lackluster last season. Yeah, there were times where we've created as well, and our strikers just didn't do the job. I completely understand that. Our attackers didn't do the job. But at times we've played against teams who are so solid at the back, and we've lacked imagination. And someone like Neymar, would open that. Now, there's a lot of issues with Neymar. Lots of issues with Neymar. He has the same sort of ego problems, I suppose, like Cristiano Ronaldo. These players will be hard to manage, but Tuchel at least has worked with Neymar. Neymar's been quoted to say that he would go to war for Thomas Tuchel. And some of Neymar's best seasons came under Thomas Tuchel as well. Thiago Silva is his Brazilian counterpart. He's part of our team. There could be that chemistry there. So look, the word in the streets is that PSG don't want to keep Neymar. They think he's a bit of a bad apple. They want to let him go. He creates too much issues. Some of you may say, Bamiz, well, that's not much of a convincing act for us to take him. Sure, but you've got Thomas Tuchel. You're hoping that Thomas Tuchel can do something there. From a creative standpoint, he would be a monster. Now, off the ball, it will be the same issue as Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe one player like him, a luxury player like him, he could probably try and conjure up a system to accommodate for him, but it will mean every other player would need to be so disciplined. And maybe Neymar doesn't play every single game. Maybe we pick and choose. Maybe we play him on the Champions League, and maybe all the teams that have low blocks in the Premier League and some of the high-profile games. Overall, if we can get 75% out of him, 75% of our games, maybe that's what we aim for. Injuries is definitely a concern. He's barely been fit in the last few seasons. And in the Premier League, it's only going to get even more physical. So there are concerns. But he's one player, let's say on a loan, because PSG apparently are saying they're happy to pay most parts of his wages, which is a huge amount, 700k euros per week or something like that. They would need to pay most parts of it because there's no way we would be able to afford to pay. Can you imagine 10% of that is 70k, 20% of that is 140, like 140k is a lot of money for us. Do you know what I mean? So there needs to be something there. There could be some loan fee. So from a financial standpoint, what happens? I don't know. Once again, from a marketing standpoint, it is absolutely going to explode. You best believe I'll get a Neymar Jr. number 10 jersey, 100%. So that's the difference, I suppose, with Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, he'll bang in the goals, but overall, it may be a bit of an issue with Neymar. I just feel like that creativity will mean a lot to us. And maybe, just maybe, he could have a better work rate than Cristiano, being a bit younger, I suppose. But that's just a maybe. But you let me know, ladies and gentlemen. At the moment, I'm lost in terms of who else can we go for without Dembele and Raphinha. Sterling ain't just going to cut it on his own. Do you keep some of the players that we already have who are not happy? So that's a bit about that. Now, Joan Laporta, when asked about Kounde, we have to talk about it with Mateu Alemany. There are many obstacles and we hope to resolve them. We'll work at a top level when we activate the second lever. I think Jules Kounde is done. I really think it's quietened down. And it's interesting, looks like Jules Kounde was a club signing. It was something that Marina Granovskaya was chasing. It was something Chelsea as a club was chasing. I don't think Thomas Tuchel was ever that keen. I mean, I personally think if you're playing in a back three, as a RCB, his ball distribution from the back, the build-up, his ability to drive as well and give us that extra body from RCB position. Because at the end of the day, you want to evolve your back three. You want your RCBs and your LCBs, much like Rudiger, to bomb up every now and then and create that extra man. Jules Kounde at times plays as a midfielder. For me, I thought that was an absolute shoe in for us. But seems like maybe we're going to have to rely on Chalobah. I've got no issues with that. If Chalobah gets more time, and who knows, maybe Azpilicueta is probably not leaving. Maybe Aspi is not leaving, and I would have probably liked to see him go because I feel like Aspi is on is on the decline at the moment. But let me know how you feel about the Jules Kounde. I'm a bit, this guy is probably one that wanted to come to us from all along, and it's a bit annoying that he's probably going to go to Barcelona. Yet another player choosing Barcelona. Joan Laporta on Frenkie de Jong. There are clubs that want him, not just United. We have no intention of selling him. He wants to say it's interesting. I thought it was just Man United just after him. Clubs interested other than United? Are we interested as well? Is this why it sort of put a spanner in the mix for United for this particular player? Look, I said my piece yesterday in regards to Frenkie. I would love him. I would love him at Chelsea. Like, for me, him playing as the deepest midfielder, I can see that. Is that his best position? Probably not. Him as an 8, moving into a 10, perfect. His passing sense, his vision, he's got the long range shooting ability, his technicality, everything is gorgeous, right? We've seen it for Barcelona, for Netherlands as well. But he can play as a deep midfielder too, if we want to have that player to replace Jorginho most of the times. He can do that. But he would definitely need solid 8s around him. Because in the Premier League, you've seen, if you have a player like Frenkie de Jong as the deepest midfielder, which is fine, and you expect us to have most of the possession, but just when the opposition will get a counter-attack, when they sniff a counter-attack, if you don't have 8s that are going to be able to be up and down to protect a player like Frenkie de Jong, you could get exposed at the back. You could get exposed. In the Premier League, you will get exposed. And Frenkie de Jong is not someone who's a physical beast. This is why I love the thought about Bissouma. I love the thought about Bissouma, but he's gone to Spurs. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what Fabrizio Romano said. President Laporta on De Jong. There are many clubs so we've gone through. I'm going to do everything to keep Frenkie, but there's also a salary issue, and that would have to be adjusted. That's the other thing as well. These players from Barcelona, they get paid way too much, but maybe he stays. Maybe he stays at Barcelona. Busquets is going, and they could do with a number 8 or a 10 or a 6 even with a player like Frenkie de Jong. I'm just a bit baffled. Maybe they're very confident with Xavi and Pedri. Of course, Pedri is their superstar. So maybe they think that he's a bit of a surplus. Obviously, Frank Kessié is moving into Barcelona, so he could be a bit of a surplus. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we've gone through. It's been mad. Cristiano Ronaldo conversations again. Would you take him? How do you feel about all these rumors? Dembele, Raphinha, possibly staying at Barcelona. So who's your next winger? Would you entertain Neymar at all? I know it's mad. Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, what's going on at Chelsea Football Club 2022? We're talking about these players, but these players are still great. Frenkie de Jong, Jules Kounde. Guys, let me know. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. I shall see you guys on a live tomorrow UK time around 10, 10:30, 11 a.m. Until then, so yeah.